Okay, hello everyone. In this lesson, I'm gonna show you how to cut and mount your corporate identity. Here I have already my business cards printed, and on the side I have already my letterhead and my envelopes as well printed. And I'm going to show you how to cut this. I'm gonna cut two pieces at a time because since they're all the same size, then just for me it's easier to do it that way. But for you, if you're beginning with this and you're new to cutting and mounting, just do one piece at a time. I'm gonna do the white area, which is more difficult to kind of calculate where the last cut should be, but I'm gonna show you how I would go about it. First, you need to be on your mat cutting board with grid, and you always want to use the actual grid lines on the mat board, because that way you can always keep the cutting structure and measure correctly. Second thing that you really want to have is a metal ruler with a cork back. Okay, don't get another type of metal ruler with both sides, or plastic rulers or wood rulers. If you have a metal or wood ruler, then the ruler will glide too much. Cork back allows you to just put it there and it doesn't move. So you want to make sure that your ruler aligns with the crop marks. Remember that you need to have bleeds. So if you have any backgrounds on your design, like this one, and you put your ruler on the crop marks and the background is not beyond your ruler on this side, then that means that you didn't set up your bleeds correctly, or you didn't save your PDF with the bleeds. You gotta make sure you go back and resave that, because if not, when you cut and the print move, you may cut uneven and have white areas. You always want to cut the area that is not going to be used outside, so you put your ruler inside your print. So put both of them, and the way that I do it is I cut one side and then I rotate. Okay, so what you want to do here is align it there as best as possible. You want to make sure that your ruler aligns with both crop marks. It's very important to have a very brand new X-Acto knife when you're doing this. That one is kind of dull, so I'm just gonna see if I can change it, which I should have done before, but maybe I'll try this one. Okay, and you let the X-Acto knife do the work. You don't want to pressure too much. You just let it glide on top of it, and if you have to do more than once, just apply a little bit of pressure, not that much. See? This one's not that great, so I have to go like 3 times. And there we go. There. Try to pressure inside to the ruler so you don't go outside. There's side 1. Okay, so I'm gonna pick this up, and this line I'm gonna try to align it here with the grid again, and here I can find a little guideline where I can actually have it there. You see that? So you can actually move your print a little bit more, trying to keep that guideline straight there, and make sure that the edges on the top of your print are well aligned with the top guideline there, more or less. There we go. So now second cut. Awesome. Same thing. Look for that line more or less right there. Then you just bring in your ruler, you put it on top, make sure align it with this vertical line right there, and try to align that guideline and the top of the paper there. Perfectly straight. You just click here, and then you just drag. Very good. Yes, you can see this is very dull, but at least you can see the kind of issues that I'm having. There we go. Okay, so now here's the problem, because I don't have any more crop lines. So what I can do here is basically just align this to the ruler down here, and I already know the height is 2 inches, so align it to one of the guidelines, 1, 2, and that's where I'm gonna place my ruler, 1, 2, and make sure that thing is straight. And there you go. Very good. Awesome. So here's the front and the back of my business card, and I'm gonna go and place it on my board so that I can start gluing this thing. Okay. All right, guys, so what you're seeing here is already my presentation board laid out, and you can, go into measurements. If you have a very good eye, you can just lay it out as best as possible. But I just put my prints on top so I can know, where do I like everything. So nothing has been pasted yet. I'm just visually trying to just make sure that I like how the layout will come out. Okay, so everything here is not glued yet. So once I have this, usually I like to do little marks that I can erase later. So let's say I like where the envelope goes right there, and I have a nice margin on each side. This board has been pre-cut because I'm using a recycled one. So I couldn't put the front of the envelope, it wasn't gonna look right. So I just put one of the sides of the envelope, 2 sides of the letterhead, and 2 sides of the business card. But after I place this down, I just come here very lightly on each corner, and I do some guidelines so I know where the corner is gonna be, and I can always erase that. So I'm just marking on the board where I want the letterhead corners to be. So when I'm going to paste, I'm gonna paste based on those guidelines. So I'm gonna do just now the business cards. Guidelines here, on each side of the corner, and it's kind of sticky, so just hold it there as much as possible so you don't mess up your layout. Right, the letterhead. So if you move it, you're gonna put it back, so no worries. And here, awesome. So this one goes in the back, this one goes in front, so I'm gonna start first with the front one. Now here what we have is our spray booth for mounting. So what I want to do here is I have sheets of paper where I can put my prints on top, okay? And I'm gonna put them upside down. And this is good for fumes and that odor. So you just turn it on. Now we have spray mount, all right? And you wanna first clean the nozzle out, okay? And when you shoot this, don't put it too close, and just lightly spray on it. trying to get all the corners. Right? There we go. Alright, so the first one I want to do is this one. And as you can see, my board was too close, so hopefully it doesn't damage the print a lot. There we go. And I always start with 2 corners on one side, and then I laid out the other side. So I'll place the 2 corners where my marks were. And here, let go, and then I just flatten it out. Okay, then I take this one, here we go, look for my guides, flatten that out. There we go. And then I'll just do the same thing with the rest of the pieces, but everything looks well laid out. Now all these little marks on the corner with a little nice white eraser. Okay, and we can come here and clean them out. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Look how that looks. Nicely and clean, well mounted. It's not gonna come off, which is what we want, so it's presentable. Remember to use matte board, okay? We don't want foam board. Foam board is something more like this, which is very fluffy. It has a layer of foam in the middle with 2 paper panels. This thing, and when you hit the corners or it through time, that it lifts the corners up and it looks horrible. We want to use matte board. Okay, now I'm gonna show you, if you need to cut your matte board down, how to use the matte board cutter. Okay, so here we are in our matte board cutter, okay? And this is meant for matte board, not foam boards or Coroplast. Foam boards and Coroplast, you can easily cut that with an X-Acto knife. The matte board cutter, once you have everything set up and ready to go, you just lift the ruler guideline down, okay? The matte board cutter has 2 types of cutting. One is angled and the other one is straight line, because this is used to make cuts for mats that are gonna go on picture frames. So that is what matte board is usually used for, but for presentation, I think it's the nicest and cleanest board that you can get. Now, place down your guideline for cutting, and your cutter, you don't cut from back to front, you go front to back, okay? So you pull, you hold with this hand right here, right? So it's real nice and pressed. Make sure everything is well aligned on this side, and you press down and pull. There we go. There we go. That's it. Nice clean cut. Perfect. Now it's ready for presentation as soon as I put all of the other pieces.